appreciation. Like, so sometimes you need to, recognize a person for their inherent value. Okay. It is not performance linked.
Welcome to the All in Recruitment podcast by Manatal, where we explore best practices, learnings, and trends with leaders in the recruitment space. If you've liked our content so far, please subscribe to our channels on YouTube and Spotify, and stay tuned for our weekly episodes. My name is Lydia, and today with us is Partha Neog, the CEO of Vantage Circle. Hello, Partha, and thank you for joining us on this podcast.
Hi, Lydia, and it's a pleasure to be on your podcast.
So, Partha, you founded and run Vantage Circle for just over 12 years now, right? So tell us a little bit about the idea behind it. What sparked this?
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge difference between what we had thought of when we started in end of 2010 and where we are today. But there's still a common thread in the entire thing, okay? And it is around the space where we started. So I don't know how old your audience is, but around 2009, 10, there was a lot of these deals sites, Groupon, and all these other sites were coming up. And it was really making a lot of noise in this whole internet space. And we thought there is something interesting here, but we don't have the money. So how do we do that? So we said, let's pick up a niche. Let's go after the corporate audience, and we'll provide them with with special deals. So if you're an employee of Microsoft, you get a special pricing on, let's say, Disneyland parks. You get a special pricing on Apple phones, all those things. Now, the idea there was that brands always wanted to reach out to this corporate audience. The corporates love those special discounts which they got, even like your nearby restaurant giving you a special 20% off, right? But it was not HR job to manage that. So we said that, hey, we'll come there. We will manage these entire deals and discounts for your employees. Now, that's where we started off with, and we gave this solution free to companies. Now, 2-3 things happened here, which took us in the direction of where we are today. One was we started speaking to the HR, the employee engagement teams. Okay, the deals, discounts, a small thing, but it was still handled by the deals, the employee engagement teams. So we got connected to them. We started talking to them. We understood their different issues which they had. Second thing was that here to make money, we had to get money from the brands. Okay. And the brands will pay you money only if they have sales. So if you get sales only if you go after large corporates, you don't get sales if you just go after 100 people companies in that model. So we started focusing on enterprises there. So what happened along the way was that in about 3-4 years, we realized that this is a good business, good lifestyle business, but it's not going to scale beyond a certain amount. Okay, it's not very important for HR. It's a nice to have thing, but nothing important. So then one of our clients told us, hey, can you build up a rewards and recognition system for us? We didn't realize how big that market was. We said, okay, I mean, you were asking, so we'll build it. Kind of, we have tech guys will build this stuff for you. So we started along the direction, we started building up the rewards and recognition system. We built up the wellness solutions. We built up the employee pulse survey tools. So these are all in the employee engagement space. Second, our focus is today also the enterprise market. We don't target the small and medium enterprises. Of course, we serve them if they come to us. But our focus from our sales point of view and a marketing point of view is the enterprise. That's because most of our clients were large corporates when they started off with us. And our systems have already been developed for that purpose, enterprises, accessibility, security systems, all those things. So that's the direction which it took. Today we are about 200 odd people. We spread across, employees are spread across India and US and Canada. Of course, we service clients across 60 odd countries there, but our employees are based out of here. So it's been an interesting journey so far, and I think lots to be done. We've just scratched the surface.
It's definitely an interesting journey, looking at the way in which, you've developed and gone into that space very organically and through demand, in fact. And employee recognition is actually more than more important than ever today, in fact, especially considering how many channels and the different ways in which you can deliver this kind of recognition to your employees. So what might be some of the fundamentals of employee recognition that have stayed the same throughout this period?
So let me give a slightly wider answer. Okay. So recognition is not new, and you rightly said what are the fundamentals which have remained the same. So it's not new. Every company, every organization has some recognition programs. What is new is the digital part of it. Okay. What is new is in the how analytical it has become. Okay. Performers, maybe those monthly salesman of the year or salesman of the month or something like that, which some kind of recognition programs was always happening. The recognition has been there. The recognition was important to employees as well as employers for forever. Now, what is the fundamentals remain the same? If you can, so it's like giving appreciation for the work which they have done on an instant basis, on a specific things which they have done. So being timely. So those are fundamentals which have remained. But I want to bring in one point here that while the fundamentals have remained common, we looked around and we didn't find a framework which people could use, okay, to design their programs. So we looked at research papers, we looked at other competitors, we looked at what is there on the net. We couldn't find some framework which could help HR to really design these programs, implement these programs. And that's where we came up with this whole framework called the AIR framework. AIR framework is basically, we're saying that these are the few factors which you should look at when you design your program. It'll differ from company to company, but you have to look into these factors. For example, appreciation. When I say AIR, it's appreciation, incentivization, reinforcement with an emotional connect. Appreciation, like, so sometimes you need to recognize a person for their inherent value. Okay, it is not performance linked. It's appreciation for you. It's not like on a specific task you have given. This is a pure appreciation is required. The impetus. Why would you want to be recognized in this platform? Okay, what is there in this platform? Either the monetary value or exclusivity. Why do you want to be recognized? That's the impetus. Reinforcement, meaning which behaviors you want to reinforce among the employees. Okay, maybe mentorship, teamwork. What are the behaviors which when you design your program, you think about these factors. Okay. And the emotional connect, we say it's the superscript. That's a multiplier. How do you deliver that? Okay, that makes a huge impact on that. Your group leader, your team leader, in front of everyone, recognizing you has a different impact. And then like an automated mail coming in. So all these factors we put in this AIR framework, which helps you design the programs. Coming back to your original question, the fundamentals have remained the same. The tools have come in to help you make it more convenient, easier, and effective.
We are also seeing that, in the past 2 years, at least, we are seeing plenty of different variables, disruption in terms of the way people work, disruption in terms of the way the economy is, and also the changing expectations of candidates. Some of them are remote, some of them are contract employees, some of them you don't see on a day-to-day basis, but they are still contributing. So given these disruptive factors we've seen recently and the changing expectations from employees and candidates, in fact, have you found that some of these fundamentals maybe have changed a little bit, or have they still, as you said, remained the same?
No, so I think the recognition, how you do it. Okay, so ideal scenario is if the leader could have gone to each and leader or anyone in the company, when you want to appreciate or recognize someone, you go to each one of them physically, present them something, or even say a good word or pat on the back, right? Now that's no longer possible. Okay, and it was not possible earlier also, but now it has made it more prominent that remote workers, okay, how do you keep them engaged? Ideally, you would like physically, if you could have done it, great, but it's not possible. So these tools are there to help you on that. Tools are never going to be as effective as the personal touch which are there, but personal touch has a limitations. In your recruitment also, I'd say, if you could, interview every applicant, nothing like that. But it's not possible. So there are tools to help you with improving this process, and maybe you will make some mistakes, but overall it improves the entire process. This remote working thing which has come in, people not meeting each other for ages there. This is a way of interacting there. When I say interacting, it's not like a chat message or something. It's interacting, appreciating. It builds up some kind of connection. This is one tool for that. There are other tools along with that which HR has to use to bring in this whole engagement factors. But the recognition is a very important tool there.
So have there been any examples that you've seen and maybe you'd like to share with our audience from implementing these different employee recognition programs, the usage of the tools within the workplace? What's really the takeaway for HR leaders?
So we have seen, as employee engagement is a huge thing today. Okay, I mean, while people have been getting fired, okay, the people who are there in the company needs to be engaged. Okay, and because as I answered in your previous point, with the remote working, this engagement levels have gone down. Have reduced. So with this recognition tools, what we have seen is the engagement scores of all these companies have improved with recognition. Now, there's a correlation. I would not say it's a causation, but there's a correlation between people who have companies which have good, effective recognition programs. We have seen their employee engagement scores increase. Okay. The second, which we have seen, is an interesting thing, and that's where we have taken our direction also, is that a lot of these hidden skills or talent, I would say, was getting highlighted to the HR or line managers. For example, Partha was appreciated as a great mentor by many of my teammates or my colleagues, but the HR or my boss never knew about that. Okay, now because remotely working, right, and remotely working, I don't have that much touch with you, and all, or a team is very big. Now my boss gets to know that I seem to be a great mentor. Okay, which means it can be used in my performance appraisal thing in the later, how my promotions and performance appraisal. So we see a lot of analytics which are coming up from the usage of the tools. We had not foreseen how it will be used, but now we are seeing that how it can be used. It's going to get connected to the performance management systems which are there, which will help in the whole appraisal process. So these are two examples which we have seen a direct impact to HR. Engagement scores increasing, and analytics being used for overall evaluation of the person.
Now, there's some people in the HR space or even in the talent space that might be thinking about building an employee recognition program, but there might be some challenges as to where do they begin, right? So what might be some ways to think about building an employee recognition program or getting started on it and building it from the ground up? And what might be some solutions around that for them?
The solution is AIR framework. Okay, so I am doing my own sales pitch here, but it's genuinely we believe. Okay, so what happened was, as I had mentioned earlier, that we couldn't find out where people, some material where people could get started off with. Before COVID, what had happened was we were getting some requests coming in here and there. But during COVID, suddenly what happened was, a lot of these HRs got the mandate that, hey, we should have a digital recognition program. Okay. Now the bosses said that, and the implementers or the real operations, the HR operations guys, they suddenly realized, hey, we want to do this, but where do we start off with? Okay, what do we do? So we got a lot of inquiries around that time. Can you help us design this program? And that's where we realized that we don't help you design the programs. We just give you the tool. You have your policies. You have to fit in your policies to this tool, which is there. Or a tool can be customized to fit in you with your policies. But the policy, the design itself was not there. That's where we came up with this whole AIR framework. So again, while I mentioned it earlier, I'm just again stressing upon some of the things. You have to look into factors like, how much do you want coverage to be there? Okay, do you want all employees to be covered? Do you want certain segment of the employees to be covered? Do you want contractors to be covered? The coverage is important. Second is the frequency of how frequently do you want this to be used? Okay. You can put the design elements into this so that it gives you that kind of For example, you can't use it more than 3 times or 5 times as a manager in a month, let's say. Okay, you can create so the frequency, the coverage, that's one part of it. What is it that you're going to give the monetary value, the exclusivity in the program? Is it only a few awards which will be given here? Okay, the exclusivity has to come in there. But I'm not saying it has to come in there. You have to think about when you design the program, what values or behaviors you want to drive in this program. You need to think about that before. You can't have a laundry list of 100 behaviors. You have to think about that these are the 10 behaviors or 5, not even 10 behaviors. So these are the 5 behaviors which you want people to, show, okay, or, implement those kind of behaviors in themselves. So you have to design your program according. How do you want to deliver it? Okay. I mean, in a town hall with everyone, visibility, who gets what, those are different factors. And all these are actually captured in our AIR framework. The framework which we have given, there's a white paper. It also gives you an AIR score. For example, you can get into that, like a DIY quiz is there, and it can tell you this is your AIR score. These are the areas where you need to improve. These are the areas where you can, think about improving these things. So that framework is there with us. Others, I haven't really, frankly speaking, I haven't seen other frameworks out there around recognition there. Okay? But this is where, and we of course provide a consultancy also if someone requires beyond the white paper and beyond the presentation. If they want a one-to-one consultation, we do of course provide that also.
And so let's discuss maybe how recognition helps the efforts to attract talent. What's the link between talent acquisition and maybe employee recognition?
So I think this whole employee branding, so you know about how employee branding is important in the recruitment space. Okay. And recognition contributes to the employee branding thing. And fundamental to that is, I think people come for two main things: good salary and career progression, and recognition in the job. Okay, if they're being recognized. So implementing a recognition program is very, very important. Now you might ask me about how it will affect the retention also. There are people grow, the companies grow, purposes grow, all those things happen. So as long as you're in the company, having the right kind of recognition programs create the right kind of engagement. Okay, they might leave the company, okay, for whatever reason, for different purpose, different reasons. But building a recognition programs helps creating a very engaged workforce there. So yes, on the retention, I think the employee branding, the connection is through the employee branding increases, and employee branding increases helps in recruitment of the talent.
So, Partha, let's discuss the use of HR technology. This is one solution, and there are also plenty of tools out there to automate hiring, especially one like ours in Manatal. So how might, in your opinion, how might technology help to ensure a great hiring campaign or a great recruitment strategy?
So I think this HR technology is an enabler. It makes sure that you are not affected by the personal biases of individuals. Who knows? Everyone has biases, right? Religious bias, what do you call, color of the skin, all those things, the different biases are there. They might not be directly, they might not even be aware of it, that they have these biases there. So those biases manifest along the way. So if you use technology, I think these help in removing the biases, helps you with making the right decision. The final decision is still the human being on the other side. Okay, but this help you in the decision-making process is how I say, and I'll say in every part of technology. There are some system in HR side which are systems of record. They are just to keep the records. Okay, those systems of record there. But other things like your recruitment technology or engagement technology, wellness platforms, survey tools, okay, those are helping the HR do their jobs in a more effective way, I would say. So I'm sure, I mean, this HR technology is going to be a huge space. It already is, and we have to, we might be able to do more work with lesser people, but those lesser people, you have to make sure that you are very correct in the decisions in their hiring, in their engaging, engagement, and in their leaving also. Okay, you have to make sure that you really are, using technology for these people.
And it's interesting to hear your points, because you also talk about how recognition ultimately leads to your talent acquisition efforts. Ultimately, you're going out there and talking about the great things that have been done internally. You're recognizing that, and you're also putting it out there. So I believe there is not just a correlation, but a codependence between the different types of HR technology that we may see in different companies as well. So thank you very much, Partha, for your time. Great insights today. The audience might want to find out more about you and where to find you. So where can they look you up?
Yeah, I think LinkedIn is the best place. So, and I was one of the early users of LinkedIn. So it's linkedin.com/Partha Neog.
Excellent. Thank you, Partha. And we have been in conversation with Partha Neog, the CEO of Vantage Circle. If you like our content, please subscribe to our channels to stay tuned for more weekly episodes from All in Recruitment. Thank you.
Thanks, Lydia. Thanks for having me here today.